Yes, obviously we are into second week of Sanghanath, the new theme. It's called What is Sangha, or what spiritual community has to offer to the world. Padma gave a brilliant talk last week. That was, he actually started, he did the opening ceremony for this new series, What is Sangha. I was there and I really enjoyed his talk. I think he's one of the amazing speakers we got in TBO, and I personally got benefited by him so many times. Just to listen to him is a pleasure. Yeah, he got like 40 years of experience in as being an order member, and his practice just not as an order member, but as a person as well. He's an amazing person. Yeah. So what he was exploring the Sangha theme. He was talking about his friend in Sangha and how he got benefited from them. Even if with all this experience, he felt the need of he also need friends to support him, and that he was getting benefited from them. He was also talking about his time in India and how he was learning from different culture and different people. Yeah, so he was focusing on his practice in different culture. Yeah, not just like, it's so important to get out of your culture and learn something new and open for everyone, basically. So we're gonna carry on with that theme. Basically, my vow to benefit all beings. That's the theme within What is Sangha. And we got two amazing speakers today, Yashodaka and Sanghanath. I will introduce them soon. So they're going to talk about altruistic dimension of spiritual life in their particular circumstances. So they're going to share their experience for Sangha and the vow to help others. So Yashodaka is kindly offered to give the first talk. I know Yashodaka personally from, we work together at Windows, it's the Buddhist ethical business. So yeah, I saw him when at 2005 first. Were you there at 2005? Yes, you were, yeah. But he got ordained in 2007, that's how I wanted to say. So, the impression I had from Yashodaka is just so quiet and integrated person. He's always so mindful and kind towards others. Yeah, I haven't seen him like last 15, 16 years. I haven't. My personal experience is always being nice to have you around. Yeah, and he has offered so much to Sangha. He does a lot of volunteers. He has teaching. He helps center. He also does a little bit of cleaning, I believe. And not only that, he's a musician as well. So he's a piano player. So he does a lot of stage shows. Amazing person, and he got a lot to offer to Sangha as well. So we will hear from him soon. So I won't take his much time and ask Yashodaka to please join us.
Very much, Vinay. It's always nice to be introduced, learn a bit more about myself, and people mention stuff. So that was very nice. So, been asked to talk about altruistic activity, stuff one does for the benefit of other people. Don't worry, I'm not going to look too good because Sanghanath is coming after me, so I'm not going to, and I won't be able to upstage anybody. So anyway, I'll just be saying a bit about things, how things have developed for me over my life, and in that particular respect. And Yeah, one thing which I'll be wanting to draw out is that it does seem to me that Dharma practice does enable us to do things for other people in quite a natural way. It sort of helps us along that road of being a bit more other regarding and doing stuff for the benefit of other people. That's one thing I want to draw out. And it seems that Dharma practice is able to help us to let go of self-clinging to the extent that we can let other people, at least for a short time, be the center of the stage, and we can sort of engage with their wishes and their needs in a constructive way. So we might talk in terms of serving other people for short periods. Another thing I'm going to mention as I go along in my talk is suggest some things which need to be in place, things we can do or things which can arise in our life, which will help us to do stuff for other people in an altruistic way. The first thing I want to mention that in my life, I've not been naturally altruistic. It's really been as a result of Dharma practice that at least some things have been able to start doing things for other people. So it's something which I've sort of had to learn and has been cultivated as I've continued to practice the Dharma. So I guess there were seeds early on in my life. I've always been a reasonably good listener, so that's been quite helpful for people at times, and hopefully that's been developed over time. Another thing, I've always been a very keen cook since the age of 23. As my Indian friends all know, I'm quite keen on cooking curry. So I've always had something to offer for other people in that respect. And one thing which I do remember from my 30s, occasionally I would have a dinner party and I would cook dinner for other people, and that was as happy as I would ever was. That was the most joyous occasions for me, is when I actually sort of realised I actually had something to offer to other people. And that's one of the things we need to learn, is do we have actually something to offer to other people? And if we get a sense that, well, yes, we do have something to offer, then we're then able to do stuff for other people. We're able to give because we've got a sense that we do have something to offer. But generally, I'd say it took a long time for any altruistic behaviour to really start to take root. And the first thing I remember was well, I played a lot of music in my life, and I was playing music in a number of different orchestras. And there's one particular orchestra which was really good. It was based in Bolton, in the northwest. I played violin in quite a few different orchestras. This was the best one. This is the one which I really enjoyed playing. We did quite substantial pieces, substantial symphonies, Cello Concerto, Rite of Spring, for those who know the classical repertoire. Anyway, big pieces. And it was actually during one of this orchestra's performances and rehearsals of Mahler Symphony. They had quite a strong, probably an early spiritual experience, which I didn't understand at the time. But putting all that together, I really appreciated being part of this setup. So I volunteered to be, in a minor way, just to take on some librarian work, getting hold of the parts for the pieces, ordering them from libraries and then sending them back, hopefully on time without having to pay a fee. So that was a very early, that was just about pre-Buddhist part of my life, when I'd actually appreciated something enough. I appreciated playing in this orchestra enough, so I didn't take it for granted. I knew it was very beneficial for myself and for other people, so I was happy to make some sort of contribution. So then moving into my more, or going into my Dharma life, I'm going to start off by making it's actually something of a confession. And this is going back to probably about the first time I went into the Manchester Buddhist Centre. This was my first contact with the movement, was in Manchester. I lived in Lytham St Anne's at the time, about an hour's away in the car. And when I went there, I was very relieved that I didn't see posters around the Buddhist centres inviting people to help out at soup kitchens and doing stuff for the homeless. I was that self-centric that I was happy that there wasn't this big show that one needed to go and do stuff for people who were less advantaged than myself. So I was very, very deeply self-centred at this time. And I wanted the spiritual life to be all about me, not about other people, not even about ethics. Okay, it just showed to me, in hindsight, I was very deeply self-centric. That's the end of my confession. Soon after that, the centre manager at the Manchester Buddhist Centre, he I think he was involved in the beginner courses I was taking part in, and he suggested, well, if you're a newcomer, why don't you come along and do a bit of help at the centre, do a bit of cleaning, something like that. And I've absolutely just jumped at the chance. I really appreciated, even though I'd only been going along to the centre for a short period of time, I really appreciated the situation. So I was very, very happy to drive 50 miles on a Saturday morning. And what I used to do was they had a massive brass door leading into the main shrine room, which had loads of finger marks on it because there's loads of people going there through the week. My job was just to get brasso and just rub off these finger marks, it was very, very pleasurable and very, very simple and basic work. So I would drive down to Manchester in a great state of happiness and drive back home in even greater state of happiness. It just brought a whole load of joy, just being able to make a contribution, even in a very small way, towards something which I deeply valued, which was the work that was being done at the Buddhist Centre. Now, one of the things which I really appreciated about, well, actually, what do I need to say? Yeah, I need to say that in 2002, I moved from living in St Anne's, where I was living, and I moved down to Cambridge to work in a Buddhist business, Windhorse Trading, for those who remember it back in those days. And one of the things which was very much part of the culture was if it was somebody's birthday, people in your team would say very nice things about you. To use the jargon, we had our merits rejoiced in. So people rejoiced in the merits of people whose birthday it was, and found that after a while, once it sort of warmed to the initial embarrassment of the whole thing, it was actually a very engaging thing to be involved in, both in terms of reflecting on what you appreciated about people and also receiving the benefits when it was your birthday. So I really believe it's a really great practice. In a way, it's quite, looking back on it, it's actually quite altruistic, because you're basically doing it for the benefit of other people. You get a benefit as well, but it's actually really helpful to tell people what's good about them, because in fact, they probably don't know it. I certainly didn't know it, because what seems to happen is that we take our qualities very much for granted. We're used to them, but that's not the case with other people. They appreciate our qualities, and if they can tell us about them, then we've really learned something, and we can learn more about ourselves and probably understand that we've got a bit more to offer. So I think it's a very positive and very altruistic thing to do, to rejoice in other people's merits. Don't stint in telling people what's good about them. And that was a very valuable part of the culture of working in Windhorse Trading. Now, in 2012, I was living in Abbey House, and Dridakarin, who I was living with, was involved with the Letchworth outreach group, and he said, "Well, why don't you come down with me?" So I thought, "Oh, that sounds all right. That might be a good thing to do." So anyway, that was a start of being involved with Letchworth outreach group, which I've now been involved in for about 10 years. And I go down there every week now. But when I was working, I would go down as often as I could. And it's now very much part of my life. So yes, and that's one way in which, if we've got some understanding of the Dharma, then if we're able to present it in a reasonably clear way, then there's going to be a benefit to others in their Dharma life. So it's definitely something we can do. And the thing that I wanted to point out from this is that, in a sense, I was inspired by the example of Yashodaka. He was driving down every week to the outreach group, and I thought, well, yeah, that's a really good thing to do. We can catch the spirit of altruism from other people. We can be inspired by their example, and I think that was true for me in this case. Saying a bit about music, which Vinay alluded to, and I've been playing music for something like 53 years now, and been playing the piano for about 40 years. So I've got plenty of confidence I've got something to offer in this way. I do have one piano pupil who comes here, and she gives a donation to the centre when we have a lesson. Being a pianist is actually quite useful for other people because you can accompany them. It doesn't seem like altruism to me, but other people talk about it in those terms. So I'll take their cue from this because it's just pleasure for me because I'm a musician. So what does a musician do? You play with other people. So it's just win-win. And if there's any altruistic dimension, I'll take that on trust that it's there. It's not the way I see it, really. So again, it was pointing to the importance of understanding that we have got something to offer, and then we're able to give in quite a natural and spontaneous way. Yeah, so that I can do that in musical terms. One thing which I've been involved in for some time, which started purely by chance. I started having weekly telephone conversations with a lady who lives in the north, a Triratna woman who suffered from multiple sclerosis and ME and other physical problems for many years. And she basically conducts her social life over the phone. And by chance, I just happened to be talking to her over the phone when she was ringing up community to talk to somebody else. And I sort of realized, okay, she's in a very difficult situation. I can commit myself to talking to her for 2 hours a week. There was enough of an empathic response to her difficulties to want to help in that way. But it's very, very challenging. Hearing somebody who's suffering very deeply on a more than daily basis, very, very challenging to take in the stories of somebody else's difficulties. So yeah, I mean, I've committed myself to doing it, but it's definitely pushing me way outside my comfort zone. And a few years ago, I agreed to be the legal employer of her personal assistant, which involved a bit more work on my part. But I'd retired by that point, so it was doable then for me. And one of the problems with this is that I have to sometimes communicate with social services who fund the care for this particular friend, and that's always a problem. It's definitely something I'd much rather not do. It's never straightforward. You never get the result you want. It's basically a big pain. Anyway, but that's part of what I signed up to do. I just have to just do it basically. One thing I wanted to point out was that since about 2012, I've been involved in talking to my friend over the phone, in spite of it being a difficult experience, and also leading classes from that time, about 2012. And I can say, hand on my heart, that my spiritual life has unfolded in a very consistent way since then. So it does seem to me that behaving in an altruistic way has a very strong and positive effect on our spiritual life, probably essential for us to go as far as we can. One point I wanted to make. Then after Windhorse trading closed in 2015, and after a year's break, I went into care work. It seemed inevitable, but I needed to have a bit of time to be clear that was definitely what I wanted to do. And I ended up working with people with learning disabilities and autism in a supported living context in the north of Cambridge, in Arbury. And I found that a very, very good thing to do. I was being paid for it. But nevertheless, it was sort of trying to help people who basically, well, the people with learning disabilities have a very small social circle. And as I was told prior to my interview, that these people, for these people, they may be the only person they see on that day. You know, so it was really, that really touched my heart that, you know, some people have got a life which is so much less advantaged than my own, and definitely had a heart, a response to, yeah, want to help them out in some way. So basically I spent 2.5 years helping them do food shopping, make shopping lists, helping them clean their flat, things like that, and helping them make their dinner. Those are kind of basic human things which I did for a while, which I thought was very, yeah, it was a good thing to do. After a while, I found I was getting quite stressed. Was trying to live a Dharma life as well as doing a 9 to 5. Well, it wasn't 9 to 5; it was shift work, so it was a bit more difficult than a 9 to 5. So I couldn't quite manage to do that long term. So I decided that at the age of 56, I could take early retirement and basically spend more time doing stuff for the Buddhist Center and regularly going down to the Letchworth group. So that's pretty much what I do with most of my life now. I lead classes, sometimes getting involved in festival days and retreats here at the Buddhist Center, leading at the Letchworth outreach group, and helping to do some cleaning around the place and do any odd jobs which need to be done. And this connects me to the values which are most important to me, and basically doing what I want to do, basically. So that's a win-win situation, I think, for all concerned. So just to summarize, I just want to make a few conclusions from reflecting on the topic for the talk today. And it seems to me that caring for others' welfare and their spiritual welfare is all but essential for a consistently inspiring spiritual life. It's such a big benefit. And the Dharma practice is most likely to be required for us to lose self-clinging sufficiently, for us to be able to put other people center stage and engage in activities for the benefit of other people. And to want to give to others, we need to have an appreciative sense of our own qualities, that we do indeed have something to offer. And the input from other people, for example, by their rejoicing on merits, can be very helpful here to give us a sense of what we can offer. And my experience is that doing altruistic things, however small, at least occasionally, can do wonders for our state of mind, and can be very joyful experience for us at times as well. And if we consciously appreciate a situation, we know well that we and others derive benefit from it, then we may be more inclined to contribute in some way to that situation. And I've learned that we can learn altruism from the example of other people that can encourage us to act in that way. And if we're able to have an empathic response to others, we're much more able to be altruistic towards them. We get a sense of their humanity, their life situation, then want to contribute to that in any way that we can. So that's all I have to say. So I'm going to introduce Sanghanath?
Yes, that's the plan.
Okay, you go and do that then.
Thank you, Yashodaka. I will not summarize his talk, but yeah, we can see that it's a good example of from his work, what he did at Windows, right livelihood, and then care work and contributing at Buddhist Center. He showed that helping others, that's what he believed on. Yeah, so thank you so much for your talk. Yeah, I like it. Our second speaker, I might just sit. Our second speaker, Sanghanath. He's a dear friend of mine. I known him from India, actually. Yeah, we are similar age. I'm a bit younger than him. So, yeah, I like to say that. No, he's been just, he's very close to me, and he's a good order member. Yeah, I think he's got ordered in 2008, if I'm correct. Yeah, I'm bad with memories. Huh? I should remember your, yeah. No, so Sanghanath, I mean, there's a lot to say about him. But I know I'm aware about time. So he is one of the lead fundraiser at Karuna Trust, based in London. He's an amazing fundraiser. He can go into any town, knock people's doors, and get money for trust. He got that capacity. You can just tell him, he will set up the 6-week campaign, train people, and do fundraising. He's, I think, one of the successful fundraisers at Karuna Trust. If you don't know what is Karuna Trust, they are highly active in India, Nepal, and they help children. They help in women project who are in need. Yeah, so they run a lot of projects in India, and he played a crucial part in that project. So that's his quality, giving others. And yep, he is very kind to his friends with his time and pretty much everything. Yeah, I should stop saying, otherwise I will take his time. So I'd like to introduce welcome Sanghanath. Let's talk.
Thank you, Vinay. You go.
Sorry. Yeah,
Right, thank you. So, hello everyone. Nice to see you all, and people on Zoom as well. Hello to them as well. Thank you very much, Vinay, for introduction. Vinay he's a very good friend. We spend so much time together. He's a little bit younger than me, but we're just amazing friend. And yeah, so kind introduction. And also, Yashodaka as well. He's a very good friend. We lived together for many years in community, just on the New Market Road. And I have witnessed his talent in music. He's an amazing cook. He makes amazing curries. And yeah, so thank you. That was great talk as well. And yeah, so today I am talking about, this, it's a big title actually. It's a big title, My Vow to Benefit All Beings. And when I was thinking about this, my vow to benefit all beings, I felt how many times I am in touch with this vow. Do I really in touch with this vow to benefit all beings? And not much really, not many times. I am in touch with this vow. So in a way, it's good to kind of have this title and be reminded by this vow about benefiting all beings. And yeah, altruistic dimension of spiritual life is so important. And I was thinking about this really. I mean, there's so much we'd like to do, so much like to do for others. But what really moves us to do things for people? What does really inspire us to do for people? What does really get that going? Doing something for others. What does helps? What conditions, or what are the conditions or things that really helps us to do these things? And I was reflecting on that one. Really, what has helped me to do a little bit altruism in my life? What has helped a little bit do something for others? And there's so many things you can come up with. I'm sure every individual is different. Every individual has a different potential to help others and so on. And I thought actually one thing I was reflecting, something about you need to catch the spirit of altruism, something about you need to be able to catch the spirit of Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva, we think about who someone dedicated his or her life to helping others, whole life dedicated. And how do we understand that spirit, where we can see that spirit. Yeah. And I think something about we are able to need to catch that spirit, we can talk a lot about altruism, we can talk about how we can become a bodhisattva, someone who can dedicate his life, practicing the 6 paramitas, there's a lot of technicalities. But at the end, I was thinking how I actually can catch this spirit of bodhisattva, how I experienced someone, like that in my life, how I experienced someone who's dedicated his or her life like that, and I felt inspired by it. And yes, I have, without any doubt, when I was in India, I have inspired by this great example of Dr. Ambedkar. Yeah, some of you probably heard about Dr. Ambedkar. He was born in India, one of the lowest of lower caste, and he realized, the suffering goes with the caste system or injustice and so on, and he dedicated whole life just kind of eradicating this suffering of others, and he wholeheartedly he spent his whole life doing that. And for me, kind of his vision and his mission catches that spirit of bodhisattva, if you like. Yeah, he is the kind of closest person I can say I have in touch with the altruism, the wholehearted altruism, or how life can be spent helping others and dedicate your life in spending others, spend helping others. So for me, I think I was thinking about Dr. Ambedkar, how he has life, just dedicated for helping others. And there's something about, I think, he's one of my teachers, if you like. I mean, I never met Dr. Ambedkar because, I'm young. There are some people have met Dr. Ambedkar and changed their whole life, and his followers as well. But for me, I think if I say myself, my vow to benefit all beings, it feels a little bit narrow-minded. It's my vow to benefit all beings. But if I think in terms of I am doing this because of Dr. Ambedkar, if you like, yeah? Because Dr. Ambedkar has this vow to benefit all living beings, and he has shown how can be done, yeah? So in a way, I feel like it's my teacher's will, if you like. My ideal is saying, you can do this as well. It's my will or mission to do this, yeah? I think it's a bit hard for maybe Western society. If your teacher said, yeah, do this one, can you do that? We can't really do that. But I think there's something about, it comes from our teacher, this will of or vow of benefit all beings is come through our teacher, if you like, yeah. And for me, it's Dr. Ambedkar and Bhante Sangha. They are my teacher, if you like, yeah, because they have shown something. They have this strong will to benefit all living beings, and I have catch that spirit, if you like, sometime, not always, but sometimes in some point in my life, I have catch their glimpses of helping others, their dedication for living all beings, benefit all living beings. I have catch that one, and that's why I kind of like to do that, if you like, as well. When I talk about spirit, it's nothing like about like God's spirit or God's will and things like that. It's just simply I'm talking about friendship, Kalyan Mitrata. We talk about spiritual friendship, and we could call maybe this is vertical friendship. They are vertical above me, advanced teacher, and they are saying, I have done this one, you can do this one. So in a way, for me, I am involved with this path of altruism because of them. Dr. Ambedkar has said, just don't live for yourself, do something for others as well. And that's why I'm doing this, if you like. Sometimes I don't have idea what I'm doing, but I'd like to do because what Dr. Ambedkar said to do, if you like. Give you a great example, actually. One of the Bhante Sangharakshit's teacher called Dado Rinpoche, he's a reincarnation. Tibetan Buddhism, they believe in reincarnation, and they can choose, who is the next reincarnation. And Dado Rinpoche, one of Bhante's teacher, he's a reincarnation of previous Lama. And somebody asked him a question, Dardo Rinpoche, how do you know you are a reincarnation of your last Lama? And Dardo Rinpoche simply said, I really don't know. He said, I got this responsibility as this Lama, and I'm just doing that responsibility wholeheartedly as much as I can. And that's why he doesn't know, but he said, I got this responsibility from my, I recognize as Lama, and I'm just doing this. And he spent his whole life just helping others. And Bhante Sangha said, he regarded as a bodhisattva, someone who's dedicated his life. And Bhante Sangha says, he's the someone who I closest can see, his bodhisattva. He's dedicated his life. So something about kind of your teacher kind of giving you this responsibility, do something for others, and you're just doing this. Yeah. So that's I wanted to get a little bit doing there. That kind of spirit I wanted to catch a little bit. Otherwise, it feels a bit, kind of social work. But it's not just social work. It's more than just my own will or my own vow of benefiting all living beings, if you like. Yeah, something about and something about it like a gratitude. I have seen what Dr. Ambedkar has done for my life, what Bhante Sangha has done for my life, and for that reason, I'd like to do something for others as well. Yeah. Yeah. Second thing I wanted to just say a little bit about community. A spiritual community. When I got involved with Triratna in India. And there's a particular point in my life I was quite struggling. I got involved when I was very young, actually. And there was a particular point, I was 13 years old, and I went on retreat. And when I went on that retreat, I changed completely my life. I came back home and I started to feel, felt like I'm a new being. And I'm a part of the community. I felt like this community is my home, like a Triratna community. And even I came back my home, my mom's home, I started to feel I'm a guest in my mom's home some reason. So I felt very strong response to this retreat, if you like. But when I reflect on this retreat, and one of thing I realized actually, my friends, they asked me to come on this retreat. They really helped me to come on this retreat. And the reason I'm saying this one, because they had a very strong will to help me, or there's a strong will to share what they have experienced in their life. They went on retreat before me and changed their life. And they said, they changed their life, and they really wanted to kind of experience same thing for others. They have a strong will to share what they experienced on the retreat, and they came back and they really wanted me to come on that retreat. And even I didn't have any money to go on this retreat, but they said, let's go, we will pay for your retreat, let's come. And they really brought me on the retreat, and that's how I changed my life as well. So there is something about, I thought, there's a will to share what you experience in your life. We all experience something coming together, don't we? Going on retreats or coming on the Buddhist centers. And when we touch this experience of change or transformation for ourselves, there's some kind of will, there's some kind of will to share with others is very important. And I thought I wanted to kind of mention that, that spiritual community, when I experienced in the first place, was something about people have a strong will to share what they experienced in their life. Yeah. And that's why I'm here, because of they have done that, they shared what they experienced with me. And that's why I managed to change my life too. Yeah, well, let's a little bit talk about spiritual community, really, because spiritual community is something, it's very important for my life. I don't think without spiritual community, I could have made progress. Yeah, especially the Triratna community for me is high point because it's an international community. It's not just about being in India or being Indian. So, worldwide community has helped me a lot in many, many ways. And just being in a part of this community, I always felt is something about altruism, doing something altruism in this community. And one thing I was really thinking about, one of the essential thing about the spiritual communities, we're just helping each other to eradicate these three poisons, greed, hatred, and delusion. And we're just helping each other to do that more and more, because my suffering is tied up with lot because of these three poisons: greed, hatred, and delusion. And being in community, being in community, part of the community, my spiritual friends are helping me to eradicate these three poisons: greed, hatred, and delusion. And I'd like to be part of that vision. I'd like to be part of that vision. To eradicating suffering goes with these three deeply rooted poisons, the greed, hatred, and delusion. Tell me when I finish, Vinay. So because I'm not in touch with time at the moment. So I just want to mention something about active. I mean, I personally do a lot of activities that has a altruism dimension as well. But really, I don't want to talk about them. It just feels like I have to. What I do is, I don't want to just talk about what I do as altruistic as a dimension, because I work with this charity called Karuna Trust for many, many years. And something about them, because I benefited from, that charity, and I'd like to be working for them, or I'm working with them as well for many years. As when I mentioned about Karuna Trust. But there's a particular project I am involved with called Karuna Appeals, where we come together for 6 weeks and we live together for 6 weeks. We create a community like this, and we meditate together. We like a practice together. We study Dharma together. We train ourselves, and in the evening we go out and knock doors and raise money for much needed funds for India, Nepal, and nowadays in Bangladesh as well. And that's one very good example for me, actually. If you come together for common understanding, common vision, and shared vision, if you like, then there is something beautiful happens. Yeah. And often is about friendships. When we come together, there are very strong, strong friendship we form, partly because we live together and we challenge each other in a very difficult condition. Yeah, we help each other kind of, go beyond yourself. You have to share a room sometime, all the time actually have to share a room. You have to give a feedback to each other, about your communication skill. You have to cook for each other, and even you don't like the food somebody's cooking, you have to eat it. There's no way around. You have to eat it. And there is something about when you cook for each other, that practice is still there, alive. And then, with this one, you can go out and meet people on the doors and ask them to help this project. So being in that part of the project, I experienced tremendous sense of common vision. If you come together, something about commonality and common vision is very important. Also, I have experienced the profound friendship, coming together, working together. You build very strong friendship, which is like us really. If we come together every week in a Buddhist center, there is a chance we will have this strong friendship. That friendship is so important, altruistic dimension. We go beyond ourselves. And at the same time, you raise this money in this project and you send it to India, Nepal, and whatever it is. But at the end of this, every night, we have activities from 8 to 9 and 10 in the night. And at the end of the night, we come together and we do this transfer our merits practice. We just recite this transfer our merits, and the sense of really we work really hard. we have achieved a lot of success. We raise a lot of money, and for me, this practice of transfer merits is the high point of this night, if you like, that day, because there's something about you do this, hard work, being there and raising money, and you really celebrate success. You really rejoice in each other's, merits and success and so on. But the end, kind of this merits and this success, you have to transfer. You have to give others for benefit of all beings. So in a way, you're not attached with this success. You're not attached with this success you have made in that project. And for me, that the end of the evening is high point, if you like, kind of doing this all. You have a success, but you're not attached with this success, and now you are giving this success away for benefit of all beings. And doing that every night, day after day for 6 weeks, there's something about changes quite deeply. I thought, about that one. So that particular project for me is very alive, and I'm still involved with that one. And even though I feel I don't want to do it, I often I have a resistance to knock doors or lead these fundraising campaigns. I can't remember any single appeal I have not resisted to do this. But then you just do it, you do it, and then you feel tremendously benefited from this project. Yeah. Lastly, I just want to mention about something about my ordination. Yeah. I mentioned in the beginning, there are so many people in the beginning in my village when I got involved. They set up condition for me, if you like. They were inspired by Dr. Ambedkar's vision and Buddhism and doing something for others. And they really shared their experience of practicing Buddhism or Dharma, and they wanted to share with others. And that's how I benefited from their conditions. They set up this kind of classes in my village and so on. And most of them really, most of them didn't stay very long, which I feel very sad. Most of them got really inspired, and they did set up this condition for others, and I benefited, and many others as well. But most of them didn't stay very long. Some of them, lost faith or path, or they disinterested for after a long time. And I was one of first order member, if you like, got ordained. But what I was thinking about this one, that's why I thought really to have this benefit to all living beings, I needed to commit something. Yeah. So just not being inspired, it wasn't enough, if you like, in that first place. There's something about at some point I have to commit to the path, or the Sangha or the tradition or the teacher. I have to commit. And committing to that path is so important for me. I think that given me more confidence on path itself, but also that given me strong condition for my life as a Sangha, spiritual friendship. And when I got ordained, there's one of the vow we take is called I accept this ordination to benefit all living beings. And I accept ordination to loyal to my teachers and so on. And just having that vow, and being ordained, I feel like I have set up the condition for my life that to explore myself and help others, being part of the Sangha. So there's something about ordination and kind of making that commitment has really felt for me, I'm involved with something bigger than myself. Yeah, because these vows represent something bigger than you. You are ordained because you want to benefit all living beings. But being order member doesn't mean we are always doing that. Whenever there's a times I get very disinterested or disengaged and passive and not do anything. Still, I need to do something with my life. Being an order member means even I need to do even more and more. Being active order member, not just like a passive order members. So yeah, something about ordination and commitment is very, very showed me something about this vow, benefiting all living beings. So in a way, I think I should stop here because time is run out. And yeah, thank you for just being receptive. Yeah, thank you.